Hello. Okay. This background, already slurring my words. I feel like everybody's gonna know what it is the moment I'm gonna start working on it. Well, let's just get to it, I suppose. Right. Just trying to wrap my head around right now. Something to get through the night. Hello, Spider Toast. Welcome. Now I'm just kind of looking at the reference and matching that as best I can. So, something like that, I guess. And then do edge mode, and GC, there we go. Okay. Now if I do that, thank you for streaming so late. This is gonna be a nice stream, I can tell. Well, that's nice. For me it's 12 PM. I don't know how late it is over there. Not how we want it. It'll be a bit tricky to do. Let me see here 1 second. I'll just kind of study the reference as I go. There's like 20 steps. So let's scale this down first of all. And I think I should be, I gotta be honest, I think I can tell what you're referencing already. Well, that's why I said everybody's gonna know. right away. Okay. There's 20 steps, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 on that. Now I want to do an array, I suppose, because I don't know what else to do here. Let's do 0 on X, 1, 1. Okay. Well, there's a bit of a problem with that. I can probably just delete this and then... Oh, that doesn't update because we gotta also... Wait, did that... Oh, what? Odd. Okay, so we got like... So the original has 4 steps, which means... Oh, that's 3. Okay. So now that's 8, 12, 16, 20... If my math is correct. Yes. Okay. And then we kind of have to like modify this a little bit, so it's not as tall. Like that. Seems about right. Then I suppose it's better if I apply this actually. Hold on, is this merged? It's not. Okay, let's merge it. Apply it. Make sure it's merged. Yep. Then we scale down. First off, actually, you know what? I can just do SC0. There we go. Then we could merge whatever there is to merge. And then I think there is a bit of a space here, if I'm not mistaken. Grid fill here, I think. Yeah. Hello, Mick. How you doing? I didn't even know there was an emote that you could use. Okay. That's good. I'm good too. Just chilling. Just gonna make this backdrop pretty fast, I think. So I'm getting it over with right now, basically. I think maybe it's better if I do a separate mesh, actually. But, yeah, I think it's better because we have a lot of shapes here of the stairs itself that is not needed. All sorts of emotes. I know like the typical YouTube ones, but I have never seen the cat in a box. I think that may be like a custom emote from a different channel, if I had to guess. I can't really subscribe. What was it called again? Oh, right, joining the membership on YouTube. It's not supported in my country, so I can't really use custom emotes. So excited I caught this stream to see the process. Welcome. Palit, I think. Okay. Right, so let's actually do a mirror here, I think. And then let's do clipping. DN. Okay, that's pretty good. Then I'll just stretch that here. And I gotta make sure there's space back here, or I guess technically however long this part is. Also, I should turn on cavity so I can see the shapes a bit better, like this. So first I'll just do this, like that, and then we can move this part, like that. Okay. And this seems like it's better if I merge it. So let's do that. That. Okay. Make sure this is also selected. And maybe like right where the stairs are, right there. That should be good. Okay, that's pretty accurate, I think. Maybe actually it's a little bit thinner in the reference, so I could do that. Like that much. And also do the same for the stairs, obviously. Okay, the whole thing. And make sure it's also mirrored. And this also seems thinner, actually. Okay, in that case we can select this. Can move it like this. But a lot of it is also just the focal length of the camera. Sometimes the lens distortion can make things look bigger than they are. So we'll just keep it like this for now. And I could just make the rest right now here. Okay. We also need some trees in the back. So I can probably just do that real quick. Now I just gotta change it up a little bit. I'll check the presets first. That one's kinda similar, I think. Yeah, we could go with this. But I gotta change it up a bit. So I think this is a bit too low. I should turn that up a little bit. Let me see if I can find where that is. That's the rotation. Curvature, base curvature. So I guess the entire tree. Or, no, it's actually the branches, still. I guess this is the branch growth category, so it makes sense. The tree itself, I think, should not be too open. It should kind of be narrow, in a way. Let's see... Branch distribution, there's no rings. Branch splitting, maybe? Okay, that's good. Split height. Okay, that's cool, but that is not really what we want. Trunk height. I'm really just trying to find where this part is. And last time I think I just manually edited it, so I could just do that now as well. But I will still change up the branches a bit to how I like it. Okay, what else do we have? Split height, we did that. Split bias. Not sure what that does. Yeah, that's just the general how tall the tree is. Okay. I'm really just like messing with the knobs right now. I'm not really doing anything special. Just trying to see what changes. Oh, that's good. Okay, that setting is a bit heavy, it seems. Okay. I mean, that's not bad. Still couldn't find where this is, unfortunately. Leaves, I'm not sure. We don't really need any leaves for this. Okay. That's okay. We can just do it manually. Could even maybe merge these or something similar. I mean, if I do that, then obviously it's a bit wonky, but it still would work. Okay. If I select one side, but that's a bit hard to do because there's a lot of small parts for this going on. But I can just spam L until most of it is selected. You gotta find a way to make it your tree, you know? Yeah, I mean, I can just do that even if I were to just mess with the textures themselves, but yeah, the model itself I can also mess with. That's pretty good, I would say. Then I'll have like another variation which won't have any splits. So let's move this aside. Okay. This will be probably like maybe 3 trees max. And then I'll just kind of distribute them, like duplicate them multiple times with like different rotations and scales so that each of them is different in one way or another, and also maybe with textures as well. Okay. So let's do white birch, yep, and then go to splitting. Face splits 0. Okay. Trunk height. I'm gonna find where this is right here. That split that happens. It is at 0, but like it doesn't seem to be removing that one, so it has to be somewhere else. Oh, okay, I see. Alright. Well, that works. Pretty good. That does like a little bit of change. Accidentally exited out of the properties, but that's okay. This works. And then I guess another one, maybe like a smaller tree, perhaps. Branch growth, I suppose. Radius. Or the radius scale, maybe. Okay, that works. Probably gonna do 0 levels on the splits, and maybe 3 levels on that, but I mean that could work still, I think. Yeah. Just a bit heavy to work with now since we have a lot more. Hello Nathan, how you doing? Do maybe like a lower trunk splitting or whatever this is. Trunk height. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, that works. So we have 3 trees right here as like variations. I'm just gonna put them in their own collection, trees. Move them here. Turn this back on. Okay. Then I need it to be like mostly in the background of the stairs right here. Let's do... I think it's better if I do it on a separate plane as I usually do. Let's do like... Wait, there's like a scatter option now, isn't there? I haven't tried it. It's in modifiers. Scatter on surface. There we go. So now I don't really need to go to geometry nodes myself, because they have made like compact versions of the things I do, but like in the modifier section, which is easier to access for basically everyone. So now I can just pick the tree collection. I guess I have to pick instance, turn down the scale. Scale can actually stay as it is, but I need to definitely turn down the density here and then make this bigger. And then you can randomize the rotations as well, like 360 here on the z-axis. You can see them rotating. You can also tilt them a little bit if we need to. Scale randomization is also a thing. We can also turn off the original plane so that there's only the trees. And now you can kind of shape it however you want. We'll decide on like the actual scale as we go, but this is generally the idea. Okay. We also need some vegetation, mainly on like this side, on the right side, like plants and such. So I'll do that as well, using a geoscatter, pretty sure. Okay. I'm definitely gonna need to give this a bit more detail, this plane. So we could do that now. Just trying to like think of the order of things that I want to do this in. Because I do have like a texture as well that I need some geometry for. So maybe I should put the texture first to see how that looks before I adjust the geometry myself. Now let's do like this. Still gonna adjust the camera a bit. Definitely need a wider angle. So maybe like 30 or 25. And then go closer. Something like this. Slightly tilted maybe. How about I move it like that, kind of. That's pretty good. Okay, cool. Alright, let's do separate screen for the preview right here. Second. Put this up. Faders. There we go. And I want to make this nighttime setting, kinda. And I want it to be foggy. I like using fog a lot. And now it's a bit easier to render since I have upgraded the GPU, so that's nice. Anyway, let's first off turn on the render view. Pixel size 1x. Okay. Now I need the autumn leaves texture. I downloaded this from Polyhaven, so that's what I'm going to be using here. This does have displacement as well, which is why we need the geometry. I think I'll just give it a base subdivision first, and then we can go in with the modifier on top. I'm trying to look at this now. Height, mid-level, scale. Okay, so now I'm looking at like how much this is being distorted. We could also turn on adaptive subdivision so that it adjusts based on like the camera. I feel like wait. No, I think it does work still if you turn up the level. Yeah, it definitely does work. Okay. It's a tad, you know, kind of difficult to process because of how much geometry you are putting. But I will also just like remove parts from this, the parts that you can't really see. But for now this is okay. I could maybe at least remove this part because like you can't really see it ever. So there we go. Now, I want there to be mud to this, and since we're using displacement, I think I'll have to mix it with this right here as well. And this texture, I think it's okay if it's, you know, the way it is. I don't think it's too noticeable that it is repeating. Maybe like this line it is kinda noticeable. So I guess in that case we could randomize the rotation for different parts. So let's say, let me see if I can view this in Eevee here. So let's say we are using this albedo, and you can see there's a line right there. It's being repeated. Now if I want to randomize it, the easy way of doing it is using a Voronoi texture. And you just kind of scale it however you want. And you use these colors right here to drive the rotation of like the texture coordinates right here. But I do wonder, can I do like a smoother version of this? Yeah, okay. So now if I click, well not click, but like if I look at this mapping node and I plug in the color from the Voronoi into rotation. Okay, that's definitely not what I was trying to do. But if I turn to F1, now you can kind of see that it gets jumbled up. Like it's not the same anymore. So that's how you kind of randomize a texture. For this, it's good because there's a lot of leaves and you can't really see the seams of the randomization, because like they look like this. It's very sharp. So if you look really closely, you can see that right there. So you gotta keep that in mind. There was a way of doing a smoother transition, I just don't remember how that was done. So, but yeah, that's the easy way of doing that. I wonder what happens if you turn up the roughness or detail. You know, that definitely does not help. Okay. But yeah, that works. So now, since I want there to be mud mixed with this, I need to make a separation between these. So let's say, you know, I make a different material or principled BSDF here, and I want this to be kinda glossy a little bit. To be dark, like brownish kind of color. Not too reflective though, I think this is a bit much. It has to be how like mud would look like, I guess. Yeah. Okay, it is definitely very smooth right now, which I will fix, but it is getting there. Let's move it up a little bit. I wonder if I just use a simple bump, maybe that will work. I may need to use actual geometry displacement rather than a bump. What else do we got? Let's see. I think the roughness, the glossiness of the mud is a bit too reflective, so I'll turn that up a bit. Then I'll try turning up the glossiness on the leaves, because right now they're pretty much not reflective at all. Something like this maybe should be good. I'm not sure why it takes so long to initiate something. I think I read something about an open shading language thing that is causing it to be slow. I don't remember where that was though. Let's see. Blender open shading language. Properties. In the render properties, enable open shading language. Oh, it's disabled right now. Okay. Okay, what if I enable it? Okay, we gotta wait a little bit. Let's see how it goes. System. Okay. this would necessarily make it run faster. Yeah, probably not going to make a difference, but we could just check. Still waiting for it to load. That's why I'm not doing anything. It'll load any minute now. Okay. Let's also maybe do... I can't see anything right now, but I'll just do a rough lookout, I suppose. Still loading. Okay. Goddamn. How long does this take? How long does open shading anyways take to render? Enabling OSL with GPU increases render time by 50% in a scene with volumetrics. Well, we could try that, I suppose. Because volumetrics are a pain in general in any 3D software to render. Okay, this definitely needs to be a bit longer than that. Let's do this. Yeah, that should work. Might need to not have these trees in the water. Just saying. I mean, we could have it. That also is a thing that we could do. Yeah, it seems about right, I think. I'm literally just like, I don't know how this looks like in a rendered view, so I'm kind of guessing right now. Still waiting for it. But in the meantime, this basically is what I have to do. And then I need some plants as well. So let's do that real quick. We want it to be scattered in a certain area. So let's pick some of them first. I don't know what there usually is, like near a lake, but we'll just pick one that fits. Although I may need to also go to Gscatter and then check what else they have. Okay. I also forgot which level of detail is actually the lowest. I think it was the highest one that is actually the lowest quality, which is confusing, but you know, that's how it is from what I remember. Weight paint, scatter selected. Okay. Okay, so now if I go to here, there's a weight map. We do not have any right now. So let's make one right here. Vertex groups, plants. Then you pick that. And now if I paint here, they appear. Oh, now it's updating something. Okay. Not sure if I somehow made it stuck, because it seems frozen, but it could also just be taking a long time. I'll just risk it and just put it to shading mode here. Okay. Okay, now it's definitely frozen. And now it's not gonna be unfrozen until it actually is finished. So. It would be cool if they had some sort of like a progress bar that shows you how far something is until completion. Things like this, basically. That would be nice. But yeah, now we just gotta wait for this. Or I could just, you know, end the program and then reopen it and see how that goes. There we go. Because now it should be finished. There we go, finally. Okay. Anyway, I think I should make this slightly more, or I guess less in radius, so that the mud isn't covering most of the leaves. Or actually, almost feels like I should scale this so that the leaves are smaller. I see a lot of butterflies, or fireflies rather, for some reason, right here. Could it be because of this? Well, that is a part of it, yeah. Okay. Scale this up. But then, like, when you do that, it's also... it feels procedural. So I think to mix it up a bit, it's better to have two noise textures. One of them would be, like, bigger, the other one would be smaller, and then you can kind of mix them together like this. I guess you could also maybe use multiply for the bigger one, so it layers over the smaller one like this. I think that's a bit too much though right now. It's just like a... you gotta fail a lot to figure out what you like. That's definitely a lot, for sure. I need to contrast it. Okay, Eevee is actually just bottlenecking me right now, so let's not do that. Why is it all of a sudden just... huh, hold on. I'm not using the correct thing here, that's why. This is not where I'm supposed to be. That was fine. That should be okay. This is the problem right here. Okay, let's also maybe pull, or maybe just move the entire thing like this. Okay, cool. I definitely have to change these a little bit. Bring up the density as well. This doesn't seem like they're to randomize. They kind of seem one level for some reason. Could it be because I shouldn't mess with this, but instead change this? Who knows? Well, so that's just one plant. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna add a bit more. Let's do 360 on this. Tilt it a little bit. Wait, that's actually the entire thing. We want to randomize it. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so for the lake, I'm thinking, let's do, should I maybe do like a volume absorption? Is that even gonna work here? I don't know, but I can check. Okay, I will be right back. 1 second.
Hideous dreams. I dream constantly, so much that I no longer tell what is real and what is fantasy. I dream often of a cold, godless place, devoid of warmth and comfort. Above me, I see twisting black roots worming their way slowly towards me like serpents. Try as I might, I cannot move my arms and legs, for my body is confined to a casket, a buried, rotting, maggot-infested casket. When I finally awake, the clock by my bedside always displays the same time, 3 a.m., the witching hour. By the time you read this, I may not be at the parish. It's the dream's been. The hideous dreams. I dream constantly, so much that I no longer tell what is real and what is fantasy. I dream often of a cold, godless place, devoid of warmth and comfort. Above me, I see twisting black roots worming their way slowly towards me like serpents. Try as I might, I cannot move my arms and legs, for my body is confined to a casket, a buried, rotting, maggot-infested casket. When I finally awake, the clock by my bedside always displays the same time, 3 a.m., the witching hour. By the time you read this, I may not be at the parish. It's the dream's been. The hideous dreams. I dream constantly, so much that I no longer tell what is real and what is fantasy. I dream often of a cold, godless place, devoid of warmth and comfort. Above me, I see twisting black roots worming their way slowly towards me like serpents. Try as I might, I cannot move my arms and legs, for my body is confined to a casket, a buried, rotting, maggot-infested casket. When I finally awake, the clock by my...
Yeah, I'm back. Okay. So... I don't usually use this volume absorption, but I think I'm probably gonna have to have some sort of a transparency with the surface, because I don't think it's gonna be visible otherwise. So let's do saturation. I don't know how this works, by the way, so we'll figure it out. Some people, I think, just use plain principled BSDF, if I'm not mistaken. Also, I don't think I want to have the trees in the water, actually. Let's not do that. this. Okay, yep, that's better. Okay, let's make the water actually transparent right here. Does this work? Okay, well, what happens if I do like... It's just the shadows as well. Perhaps if I turn that off. Yeah, I don't think that that's gonna work in this case, just because of how little it is visible. If it was like maybe an overhead shot where you can like look from above and looking at the water from there, then it would make sense, but I think for now it's better to do just like this right here. So let's saturate it a bit with greenish hue, kind of, and make it darker. And then, so that it isn't like perfectly clear, because, you know, it wouldn't really be perfectly clear, I think. I add noise. Scale that. Most of it should be reflective, but then some parts should be like that, more like rough, I guess. Then you have this kind of thing going on. It's not perfect yet. This guy cooks with gas. That is true, I do cook with gas. We're getting there. This has a bit of a cringe. I mean, that doesn't really affect me in terms of the cringe scale. Okay. I think... You know what, I'm gonna add a bit more plants here, actually, before I do anything else. Maybe a dandelion could work. Great paint. Yep. That's very true. Yeah. A lot of people that I meet sometimes they cringe really easily on things that I think are kind of trivial. Oh. Get this guy here, or scale. That's pretty good. Some of them kind of look like they're floating though. I guess that's because we're using a displacement through a texture, and this isn't really able to read that, which is kind of a problem. But I could move them as a whole, and that will fix it. I don't think there's a way to make it read out of a shader, unfortunately. Translate, perhaps? Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Good. Okay, now this is just like the foundation, as per usual. I will go in and tweak it if I need to. Then we need some more trees back there. As well as this land. Need to kind of like cover the horizon. Although we're gonna be doing this in the nighttime setting, which means most of it won't be visible, I don't think. We'll see. I saw one render on Instagram. Let me see if I can find it. I liked the gradient it had. Okay, yeah, this guy had it. Yeah, right here. This. Really like the gradient here, so I think I'm gonna do something similar to this. Okay, I feel like I should have something in the foreground here, like a little bit, just for variation. It just feels a bit empty right now. Yeah, pretty good. Well, this tree is kind of close though. But it's kind of hard to see actually. I might do interface default so that the lines are thinner. But then obviously, actually, you know what, maybe I should change the Blender theme that I have. I don't know what to though. Definitely don't want anything bright. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, this works, I think. And then let's do a quick tree texture for all of these. Materials. Make it darker, like this. Saturated. And then we want a lot of moss here. As well as the roughness. Let's do maybe, okay, let's see if I can do this first. So let's do object info. Okay, so it seems that this works. So now why did I do this? It's because if I have this information of like individual trees, let's say I want this noise texture to be distributed differently on each of them, then I can just use this in the location here, and now everything should be randomized based on that. So all of these are now individual in terms of the texture, which is good because nothing is really like a clone in real life, in nature at least. Okay, so now that we have this, I can just kind of tweak it however I want. I'll figure it out. Okay. We can just start with this for now. And then let's do a mix color. Plug that into factor. Then we can change one of this. And this is gonna be where the moss will be. As well as a bump in the same area. But I think we'll need more detail for this. Yeah, like that. So now it's kind of working. Just gotta adjust the look of it. And also I need to have the tree to be also kind of textured in terms of the bump as well. So I'll do another noise texture. Use this coordinate system, make it slightly distorted. Okay. Now I can either layer this on top of this, which I don't think would work that well, because then obviously this moss would also have the tree lines, which doesn't make sense. So in that case, I think it's better to use this as like an addition for the tree texture, if that will work. second. This is also being fed into the color, so that's why the whole tree now is green. But we need this only for the bump right there. So I'll leave it like that here. And then let's have a mix color down for the bump separately. I don't know if this is going to be easy to do in this way, but I'll tinker around and see. I may actually need to contrast this a bit more. We'll see. I mean, I will get there eventually. So all I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get these patches right here on top of this. That's all I'm doing. I can give it a different color just to preview where it is and see how much I'm actually affecting it. So that should actually be pretty good. Okay, now let's see if this works somewhat. Okay, well, something happened, but obviously I need to reduce this right here and also turn up the detail. Okay, now the moss is not really moss anymore, so I have to fix that now as well. Sometimes you just gotta wrap your head around simple things as well. They just take some time. The bump on it is definitely extreme, which is bad, and I'm gonna reduce that as well. Let's turn back to Eevee because this is taking a bit to load in cycles. Let's see here. Okay, so that's the distribution of it, right? Okay. Not that rough. Okay, we'll see. I suppose I can technically control the radius, I guess, of this using the detail and the roughness here. It works the same way, I think, in this case. Okay, I think that works pretty well as is right now. Maybe I'll need to make the green a bit darker. Also a bit more visible, but then you gotta be kind of careful with that as well, because then this happens. Okay, a bit more yellow I think would be nice. Let me just check how this looks. Okay. If we want a bit more coverage, we can also do that. For example. Yeah, that will work. That's fine. Right, anyway. Next, I think I want to add textures to the stairs. Let's actually start with the outer side here. And I also want to add a pebble. Not too much, but like enough for it to be catching some light. Okay, so anyway, now let's see. Noticing some details that I haven't seen before actually. But first let's do the basic, like, how to explain, like dirt right here on the bottom. To separate, there we go. Then we contrast it. Let's do a distortion on color dodge. Okay. That works. Just gotta tweak it a bit more. Maybe put it on quadratic. It's definitely a lot right now. Although like linear technically should work better since it's linear, like it's not, it doesn't have a different curve, so you just define what you want the curve to be. Now, let's start with, okay, this is gonna be several layers, I think. So for that, I think a color ramp itself could be used, so let's do that. For the main color, which is most of the white here, should be kind of like a desaturated blue. Then it shouldn't be too bright, it should be kind of dark actually. Something like that works well. Okay. Then we got the very bottom color, which should be more towards like a rustic look. So let's do something like here as a color first, and then we can turn the value down as well as the saturation. It goes down even more. That much. Okay, and then the middle color here should be, it's just kind of gray, I think. Let's do that. I think I'm gonna actually scale the x-axis here because it's a bit scrunched up here, squished. Like this. Okay. And that's kind of the general look first of all, but then it also has like, there's more of it near the stairs, which, you know, makes sense. So we gotta do that as well. But for that I'll need a ambient occlusion. Okay. Distance. I don't know why it's not showing properly. Wait, what? Why can I not see face orientation properly? Huh. That is interesting. Could it be because of the theme I have? Let's see. Themes. Do that. No. I feel like I had this before, and I don't remember how I fixed it. It seems that it's fine though, because if it wasn't fine, then this entire thing would be red. So I don't know what's going on with the ambient occlusion mode. Could it be because of open shading language? It is, actually. Huh. Okay, well I guess we're not using that then. I know no, this is probably more or less the same. Okay. I've noticed that anytime you press Ctrl Z in Blender, it just takes way longer than if you were to, you know, input the same value yourself that you had before. which is weird. I don't know why it's like that. Alright, we'll just leave it like that for now. Let's go back to this. Oh. So now we got the same kind of values here, which means I can essentially just take this color ramp and then plug that in here. And now it should be the same, basically. But if I want there to be distortion as well, similar to this, in that case I think I'll have to use a blend mode. Either linear light or something else. I think this works, yeah. Honestly, I could just use this or the whole thing. I don't even need the gradient, I don't think. So why is this? Oh, never mind. I thought that was transparent for some reason. One problem though, this side isn't being affected for some reason, and I don't know why. In that case, what if we take the gradient here, this one, and then we mix that with the ambient occlusion so that we can cover this side fully. So let's do that. Yeah, there you go. Obviously, I should probably tweak it so that it's not covering so much, but it works. Yeah, that's good. Be a bit less. Perhaps turn this kind of down. That's not the correct one. This one. Yeah, I mean, this one is still not perfect, but it works. Also, another kind of weird detail that I just noticed is that, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make this properly, but we'll see. There's like dots here. I don't know if those are screws or what, but there are dots, so I'll have to add those. Let's tweak this a little bit more, and let's make this metallic first of all. Roughness probably all the way. Tweak the blue. Saturation, turn that down. Okay. This should not be entirely gray, it should be a bit close to yellow. Let's just like have one for now and then mess with that. And after value. That's pretty much identical as I am comparing this right now. Why is this magenta? What the hell? Okay. Let's do... Yeah, I'll just do a quick color or vertex color thing here, which means I'll pick this side and I give that a color here. It's kind of spreading everywhere else, which is why I need to use a math node. Set the power, and then there you go. So this will act as like a mask for where I want something to be at. And then let's do maybe a Voronoi, I guess. Object, perhaps. Turn off randomization. Turn down the roughness. Color ramp. That's not really what we want. That's a bit closer though. Yeah, I don't like that some of them are bigger than others here on this side. I guess it is dependent on the coordinates, but okay, generated. Okay, all of these have coordinates, which is good. I'm probably gonna do a UV maybe, Q projection. Then yeah, that looks better. So now I need to pick like something like that is basically what it looks like on the image, but I need to make sure these are not so big. Something like that, basically. Okay. There you go. Alright, and then we'll just use this as another color, and also probably roughness, probably. Needs to be inverted like that. Take this up even more. Okay. Add. Cool. And then on top of this mask we could just add noise, so it's not entirely the same all the time. Do color ramp. And actually, just let's use this one here so I can save some space. That's better. Alright, anyway. That goes into there. And then we could also use it for roughness. So let's do maybe another color ramp. Or just let's actually take this, and we can just define how reflective it needs to be. Maybe like this much. That's a bit too much, I think. Oh, and right. It needs to be done in a similar way as this. So let's do that. Why is... what the hell? Hold on. Why is this side, oh, maybe it's because of that. Hold on. Kind of confusing myself here. No, that's for the actual dots. But why is the side gray? Right, so we got this mask right here. I think I could use maybe this one instead. Where is it? This one. Like this. Okay. This looks great. I don't know if this is like a shading thing, but how can it be a shading thing? Because it's where we are just looking at the color. We are not looking at like a BSDF or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I think that works. We could maybe even add a bump for these so they look a bit better. Doesn't seem to be doing much. It just disappears. Oh. I guess it's because it's not clamped and that's why it's so bright. That makes sense. Okay. Alright, well in that case, what if I... oh, these dots. But I think it's better if I invert it like this, and then we use this mask, the dark side of it, as a blend mode. So I put this on multiply and turn that up, and now we just have the dots. So I think that works a bit better here. Okay, so we don't need that anymore. There is something going on, but it's just so thin that the bump doesn't know what to do. In which case, it is better to have the original texture here, like this, and actually adjust that instead. So we have more information where this blends. For that to happen, we actually need this to be in a different mode. So now we have softer fall off, which means now we have more information. But now I have to adjust it, obviously. I just realized that everything else is reflective now, for whatever reason. Oh, it's because it's using this. Probably that's why. Okay. Yeah, for roughness it's better to invert this, so that the actual reflective parts are these things here, rather than the entirety of that. We'll definitely need to tweak this more. Are these edges caused by the bump here? No, it's not. Alright, it's probably because of the roughness, because we are not using a contrasted version of the circles. It's soft, so we need to fix that. The moment this loads, that is. I don't know why it's having such a hard time recently, but it is. That's a bit better. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Now, let's see. The stairs are mostly just dark. Obviously very rough. But on top of them I need leaves. So I'll have to figure that out as well. Also the bevel I think I'll have to do weight and then kinda select this right here. That up. Turn this down. Alright, so this doesn't have any color, but it seems that the color itself is being cast from the environment and etc. But that's okay. But I also need ambient occlusion, I think, specifically for the edges here. Inside, I think only local. Color ramp. Okay, that's not quite what I want. Maybe if I do geometry and then pointiness. That's kinda better. Hold on. It's also like taking the entire thing, which is odd. Like, why would you think that this is like a point, like a pointy edge? Yeah, I'll try my best. See how good I get it. But right now it seems that it's taking like the top faces of it, which is, I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, that's very random. Distance. Okay, wait, this might be better. Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, we don't need this anymore, and we can use this one instead. Okay, good. Then we can do noise texture. And break it up a little bit. Like that. Okay, so now this has to act as a kind of like a color, I guess, but also roughness. So now it's kind of like, it looks as if it's weathered or something at the edges. I also want to add just an overall bump to this entire thing. So let's do that. 0.1 there. Not too much. reduce this a bit more as well. There. It has to be super subtle. Yeah, that works. Okay, anyways. That's pretty good, but we still need leaves on top of this, which I'm thinking on how to go about, because I think I would need actual leaves, like meshes. Suppose maybe I could do it with the texture as well. We could try it. So let's maybe do like... I could perhaps copy the top faces, like that, duplicate them, and then here I could have the leaf material. Then obviously I would need to check how that looks. I definitely need to duplicate this so that then I can work only on these separately. And I think I should just have this section, which is basically just the leaves, and this section is what I did, which is just mud. We don't really need that here. Okay. But we have to fix this entire mess. I could do that by just doing like project from view, maybe like that. Now everything is obviously very repeated. Let's maybe first change the scale here. Give all of this some subdivision so that it has enough geometry to kind of deform like that. Okay, maybe a bit more. There we go. Now let me check how this looks first off. Okay, let's give it a bit more. We don't need a bevel. I'll just check how that looks. Okay, that's too much, as you can see. Turn down the scale. Okay, that should work. Yeah, this will be fine from a distance, honestly. I just feel like the actual leaves are a bit too bright for some reason. I'll maybe turn that down. And then I'm not done with the stairs yet, because I still need some more texture on the side. And I have a texture that I want to use. Let me see here. Do like, I guess maybe this or this. Try that first. And let's make an empty for that sphere. Texture, I guess. Object, texture. Was that ticked? No. Okay. So now, let's check this first. It is not rotated properly. Do this first. There we go. Let's do clip 50. I think that should work. Yeah, this side doesn't really look that great, but I could use a mask as well. Maybe like let's see. Let's do a mix shader. No, not that actually. Mix color, I meant. Like this. Multiply. Hold on. Could be working. Oh wait, yeah, we need it to reverse. But I could use it here, you know, and then do this. That works too. We got like funky stuff going on over there. I can fix that as well, but let's just check it first. Let's mix this with roughness. Here. Add you know what, on the second thought, let's not mix it with roughness, let's mix it with something else. Because right now... Wait, did I just delete the inversion? I think I did. Hold on. Yeah, this shouldn't be deleted. Yeah, because this is already basically entirely white, aside from this. So I'm gonna actually make a diffuse BSDF, turn that up on the roughness, and then we can mix these two textures together, and then I'm gonna use this here as a mask. Change this. Now we have another texture on top of the existing one, and it works. Just gotta adjust it however I need it to be. That's pretty good, aside from the fact that there's lines up here. So I'm gonna try and fix this now. So let's maybe take advantage of... Well, no, I don't think that's gonna work actually, never mind. Okay, let's make a different vertex color. Select these two, I think. Then we go vertex paint, color that. Let's do the same setup as this right there, except I'm gonna use this one, plug it here, and now it's not being affected in that area, which is good. So there we go. Okay. I also want to change the ground a little bit more. I think it's a bit like too bumpy. That much is okay. And it still looks pretty bumpy though, does it not? Not sure. We could also change the noise. Wherever that was. Pretty good. And let's change the color for the tree moss, because I think it's a bit too vibrant right now. Okay, that's pretty good. I do think I should kinda make the grass here a bit more yellow. Let's do that. Better, I think. And same thing for here, dandelions. Although that kind of turns them red, which I don't like. But we can desaturate it a bit. Why is it only a part of it is being desaturated, I think? That's odd. Well, okay. I think it's because of translucency, which is this here. Cool. Okay. Maybe let's make the water slightly darker. And we don't really need this much here. Just the plain is enough. A bit better, I think. Okay, well, that's generally the idea. Now, let's do volumetrics. How to experiment with this now. What works and what doesn't work. Also be right back.
The hideous dreams. I dream constantly, so much that I no longer tell what is real and what is fantasy. I dream often of a cold, godless place, devoid of warmth and comfort. Above me, I see twisting black roots worming their way slowly towards me like serpents. Try as I might, I cannot move my arms and legs, for my body is confined to a casket. A buried, rotting, maggot-infested casket. When I finally awake, the clock by my bedside always displays the same time. 3 a.m. The witching hour. By the time you read this, I may not be at the parish. It's the dreams, Ben. The hideous dreams. I dream constantly, so much that I no longer tell what is real and what is fantasy. I dream often of a cold, godless place, devoid of warmth and comfort. Above me, I see twisting black roots worming their way slowly towards me like serpents. Try as I might, I cannot move my arms and legs, for my body is confined to a casket. A buried, rotting, maggot-infested casket. When I finally awake, the clock by my bedside always displays the same time. 3 a.m. The witching hour. By the time you read this, I may not be at the parish. It's the dreams, Ben. The hideous dreams. I dream constantly, so much that I no longer tell what is real and what is fantasy. I dream often of a cold, godless place, devoid of warmth and comfort. Above me, I see twisting black roots worming their way slowly towards me like serpents. Try as I might, I cannot move my arms and legs, for my body is confined to a casket. A buried, rotting, maggot-infested casket. When I finally awake, the clock by my bedside always displays the same.
Okay. First off, actually, maybe it's better to up to the world, and then let me check what happens when I turn up the emission. Let's do really like a tiny amount. That looks nice, actually. Very cool. So now let's see what happens if we introduce some light. Let's do sun, but obviously the shadows will need to be soft. Also, this has to be blue. I'm trying to find a sweet spot right now. See what works. I just know that I want to have a gradient of some sort. Of like, right now it works obviously. Like you can see the trees are fading out in the distance and stuff, but like I need more options, I guess. The trees as well, maybe. I like this. Hold on. So the background is really nice, this area right here. The foreground needs some work, but we're getting there. Let's do spotlight with the same properties as the sun. Up. Time to experiment with lights. I guess technically a light would be coming from behind, since that's kind of where it is, but I'll experiment. I need it to be dramatic, but not too much. Like, I want a rim light first of all, I think. This is pretty ominous as well, to be fair. Let's maybe make a light link, see how that goes. I see that, although I may need to turn up the bevel. I like this so far. Yeah, this could be a nice fill light for the stairs. I'm just trying to... I think I like it if it's... You can kind of make out what's going on, but like it's not in your face, you know? I'll add some distortion on the trees later on as well. I'm just kind of working on lighting right now. Let's also... Should I try adding... Okay. I'm thinking like... What if I have another layer of volumetrics on the ground? this one will be like controlled by the noise. It would be nice if it didn't cut off right here. I thought they fixed that or something recently. But it's not. Maybe not the way I'm thinking. Could use a gradient for that though. This in emission so I can see what's going on. There you go. Soft cutoff. Yeah, I want it to be like this, like a mist, but not so bright. So I don't like how perfect this line looks, so I'll just kind of change up the roughness of it or the bump of it. I just know that bloom is gonna look really nice on this once we are gonna get it to DaVinci. But I do want some foreground elements as well. Let's also make like a focus point, maybe like right there. Arrows, I guess. Yeah. So now that I have that, this background should be more blurry now. Might not be visible unless I turn this down, maybe like half. Okay, so now it's a bit more blurry. So do some plants right here at the camera. Like that, but maybe not like covering the middle. I just want it on the side. I could also add some loop cuts. For better control. Perhaps we could add a bit of spotlight to those plants in the foreground. Not too much, but enough for you to know that they're there. But doesn't really need it. Pretty good. I would like it if they were a bit closer though, personally. But I may need to change the seed for that. Let's see. That's good, except it's right in the middle, which is not good. Oh. How did that appear? There you go. That is pretty nice, I think. Let me try other options as well. Maybe too much. If it's like here, it's good. If it's like at the staircase, that's not good. Preferably, I like it on the left side. Good. left one or the right one is a bit much, unfortunately. This works, but I just wish it had a bit more blur, which is why I want them to be closer. So I want the left one that is very close. I may just like make a separate plane, perhaps, and then just kind of move that plane. I think that's a better idea. So let's go back to how it was. Delete it here. Okay. And then let's do plane. Then we pick one of these. Take the fence here, assign. I can just change it to my liking, which is much easier, I think. Just gotta pick a nice one, maybe like this. Okay. This. Okay. That. Yeah, you can't exactly rotate it by the z-axis, so you gotta be mindful of that. Big fan, unfortunately. It's gonna work. I don't think this is that bad, actually, because I kind of like the little bit that there is right here, and I think that will look nice once it's animated. I'll just add a bit more, maybe like this. What point is this on? Oh, it's from here. Okay. So, now, let me just figure out how I could render out the smoke separately. Or the fog, I guess. So I think the way I need to do it is make this transparent. So we gotta render out one scene without fog, and then a separate layer has to have the entirety of the fog, but nothing else. Everything else has to act as like a pulled out, like a mask, basically. So I'll try that, see how that goes. First of all, though, let's maybe separate this. Wait, not like that though. Hold on. L. It's very hard to see. Okay. There. So now those trees are separate. So let's make maybe also the water. So this is gonna be the background collection. Right there. This is gonna be the midground. So let's see. So this. We could just make a midground collection first. Okay. Then we could put the systems here. But then the problem, obviously, being that this is supposed to have its own thing here, the system. So I think if I do that, yeah, so now it's separate, which is good, because this has to be in the foreground. Yeah, there we go. Then the stairs also need to be in the midground. Trees are fine, this is fine, it's the general collection. Yeah. I guess I could move this like that. I can still animate this though, right? I should be able to. Rotation. Wind. Yeah. 30. We could do 250, I think that's okay. Because, like, I'm starting really early this time. It's Tuesday, so it's okay to have more frames than usual. Okay. Now let's adjust the strength here. It's the speed. And I think I want to add some particles just flowing in the air if I can, make them visible. This looks okay. Okay, so that's looping. Now we need the same type of animation, but for is it? I can't really copy this, can I? Okay, that's okay. I'll just repeat what I did. So, wind 30. So, speed, copy this, strength. That's it. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now, since we have all of that, what else do we have left? Let's see. So, lighting, that's general, this is general, that's also, okay, so, alright, let's test it. Turn off mid-ground, cool. What is that though? Oh, I just forgot to turn that off here, okay. Like something up there as well. No, it's just kind of gone. That's better. Okay, cool. So everything works, it seems. I'll just make this like so. So this is going to be the layer where everything is visible. This is not going to be rendered, it's just for preview. Oh, let's see. Cool. Next, we'll just basically make everything here. So let's do, I'll just copy the settings of this one. Background. Turn off the fog. Turn off mid-ground and foreground. So we only have the background. I guess technically you don't really need this much water, so we could trim that, or we could just use the mid-ground as a holdout. So like turn this on and then use it as a holdout like this. So the water is still visible, it's just kind of hard to see because there's no volumetrics. Well, I guess that's still not helping, but it is there. But yeah, now it's kind of using the mid-ground as like a mask, basically. Then I shouldn't forget to turn on environment pass, so that when it's not transparent, there's like a, I guess there's not much going on, actually. It's just a black background. Yeah. Then in that case, I don't think it's worth having the environment pass. I'll just have a black background and that's gonna be it. most of the work is done by the hog. So we'll just have it like this, I think. Then, oh right, wait, hold on. This is actually a bad idea, because in the midground we have animations, which means that it wouldn't be a smart idea to have it as a mask for the background, because then you would need to render every single frame of that animation or the mask. And at that point it's better to just have background as one frame and then have the midground just on top of that background. So we'll just do that then. Let's not use this. Alright. This is fine. It's okay. And let's just do midground now as the layer. Turn off the background. There we go. And then the last one is, well, second to last. Foreground. There. And then, since we have volumetrics, we need one more. For this one, we will need all of this, but all of it will have to be a mask. So let's turn that on. Like this. And this unfortunately will have to be also rendered for 250 frames. We'll see how that goes, you know. But for now, we can just render each frame and composite it, or composite them, and, you know, do the effects, whatever, to see how it all looks before I render the whole thing. And then we can render the whole thing, and that will be it. But I wanted to add particles, so let's do that as well. Let's maybe do plane right here. Like this. Okay. I typically use an icosphere whenever I do dust particles. Something like this should be fine. Call this dust. Let's make a material for it. Usually I do like either diffuse and transparency, or emission and transparency. Depends on what I do. But let's check this first. So let's do particle system, emitter. Okay. Render object dust. Turn this up. Let's also turn off the gravity, I think. We'll just drive everything with force fields anyway. So let's do that. Let's turn off velocity. Okay. So now they appear. Now I need where is it? Wind. Okay, that works. Now I just adjust this however I want, and you can see it working over here as well. Okay, I don't want it to be so extreme. Let's turn this down a bit. And it's way too far to the point where it's not visible. So we have to move it right at the edge of the screen. Then let's also turn up the lifetime so that they don't disappear. Let's do maybe like 150 should be more than enough, I think. If not, I'll just do 200. Might as well do 200, why not? Okay, so right now they're kind of just going one speed, and that's not that interesting, so I'll add turbulence. Turn that up. Yep, like that. Now I can kind of see what's going on. The noise. Now the important thing about this is that we need a part where you see the particles enter, and then you need a part where they kind of stop, like, producing. And for that, we need to cut them off at a certain point. Let's try this, for example, see how this goes. Let's say they get cut off at 118, right? Now, if the particles are not visible on the screen once it's like fully once they're like here, for example, if you can see particles still on the screen, that means you gotta cut them off earlier, maybe like 110. So you need to make sure they're not on the screen, basically. Be one, just a tiny one. So let's do 100. Put one right there. $90. I think that's good. The super tiny ones are okay, because they're not going to be visible all that much anyway. I'd also turn off the emitter. Let's turn down the number. I think like a quarter should be good. I think. Anyway, let's see how they look now with everything else. Maybe a bit hard to tell where they are. It's more visible in motion with the motion blur. But yeah, I'll just cache this. Bake it. Then we'll just make a separate like layer for this as well. Copy settings, articles. Let's make sure that every other layer is holdout, or I guess collection rather. Turn off the fog. Yeah, so they're pretty dark, but you know, it might help against the fog. They may stand out, we'll see. Okay, so anyways, now let's render this frame right here in the middle, because this is where the particles are visible. So now I'll just go here and set up everything that I need. So background. File output. Background. There we go. Backdrops. Stairs. Render. Ground. Foreground. Fog. And then particles. And press cancel. There we go. Now let's make sure that this has correct property set as well. Just like, yeah, it's fine. DVAA, override, ASUS CG. Cool. What else? I don't think there's anything else. Now I just connect those. Like 4 more. Right now, we just plug these in. Don't forget to change the file output. The names. that's basically ready to go. I think I will set this at, I'll just do 512 for now. Maybe actually no, 256. That should be fine. Okay. I'm not sure if I should denoise anything. Maybe I should. I'll just render this first and see what it does. To wait for kernels. This might take a bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. Wait. Oh, I think... Alright, 1 second. We have a render single layer turned on. That's why this is what happened. I've never seen that tessellating plane something something. Hopefully it remembers that, so it doesn't have to do it every single time. You know, even without a denoiser, this looks fine at 128 samples. Or was it 256? Yeah, 256. Now, I think first I'll just test it here before I go to DaVinci. Okay, so first off, alpha over image. I don't know why it's so laggy right now. Yeah. That's fine. It's supposed to be pitch black in the back. Now I'll just do mid ground. Wait. Yeah, transparency is on. Okay. Just how to put everything together first, and then there's fog, and this should bring the whole image together. Yeah. And then on top of this there's particles. Although this might not be visible right now because, well, it's kind of visible right there. Okay, so it works. That's good. Like if I compare it to the actual render here in the report, okay, my memory is basically full, which is bad. Do this. Although this seems more contrasted, which is not sure why that is. Could it? Well, actually, you know what? I may know why. If I go to mid ground, for example, perhaps the lighting from the fog is affecting the ground, but then I can't put that to be... I can't have it invisible, That's the fucking problem. So it just doesn't translate all that well, and that's why we get such a dark image. So that sucks. What could we do for that? Be using an area light to compensate. I mean, this could work. We'll just have to try. I'm just thinking, should I have it like for everything? Or should it just be for this? Well, certainly we don't want it for the fog, that's for sure. So maybe I could do this. Exclude. Yeah, and maybe not the water either. That looks better. So exclude this one. So I'll take a picture of how this looks without the area light, so that then we can compare after the render. Just do this as well. I think I'm ready, so we'll see how it goes. Which one is plain 0.001? Doesn't even show up. This one does though. Blender tessellating. Oh, that's okay. It could actually be from adaptive subdivision, now that I think about it. Okay. Oh god. What even happened? Okay. Okay, like this is just much smoother comparably. Okay, well, I'll try another thing. Hit this. This could work. Okay. Maybe it's a good idea if I separate this so that then I can denoise it, because there's some fireflies which I do not like. I don't mind this though, like it's better. Okay, so let's do this then instead. So we got the stairs, right? Let's have it be here in the mid-ground, except it'll be a holdout and also an indirect. Well, I guess I think if you turn on indirect, it's automatically a holdout or not. Okay. We could have it like this for the shadows. I think that's a bit better. And then what I'll do is I'll just make a just copy settings of this one. Make stairs, and then let's do make this the indirect and also the holdout. Now that's separate, and that's good because now I can add a denoiser to the stairs specifically. So let's do that. There's the noiser, normal, torpedo. Okay. And then obviously we need to combine it with the mid-ground here before it goes anywhere else. So now we gotta re-render this, see how this goes. Well, also, I forgot to give this its own folder. The legal address is CUM. What in the hell? Yeah, I'll just reload it, I guess. Failed to retain CUDA context. What in the... hell, I've never had this before. Linux though. Yeah, I'm just gonna reopen the program and see what happens. That is very weird. Yeah, now it works. Okay. Great. Great. Actually, you know what? I think we should separate the plants as well, because it's just kind of stupid to render the static objects in the midground when we could just render the animated objects separately. Like, it saves a lot of time. So I'll just do that, I think. Basically the same thing I did with the stairs. Yeah, that's better. And then let's do... So now the plants, we have to separate them as well. Let's do that. So let's do plants. Okay. So now this. Okay, well, let's not have it in the stairs collection. Go back to mid-ground. And then do the same thing as we did with the stairs. Okay, that's a tree right there. That's fine. Then we do copy settings. Going to another stairs, I think. Just gotta make sure the plants are below it. That's basically it. Call this plants. I guess mid-ground plants. Now, mid-ground plants there. So currently, that's the mid ground. Then we do this, and that should work. And then let's obviously make another file output here. So okay, now it should be good. Wait. Alright, we have to turn it off in the foreground layer. And I guess not only there, but everywhere else.